Welcome to the Clown House Show podcast. Have some technical difficulty.
It's kind of funny because it's like Clubhouse is like its own little microverse. But I'm on this dating app called Hinge, and they have deleted my account 3 times now, and then they keep reinstating it, and it's all because fat pigs on there. If they don't like you because you didn't respond, or they think you're spamming, like they'll report your profile and have it, and it'll automatically delete you. And so they have to manually review. You have to send a driver's license in, and it's all because of a snitch line, just like this piece of shit app with all kinds of losers who snitch on people for whatever reason, and get accounts suspended. But I think it's funny because Hinge is like the real world. It's like I'm actually trying to take these people out on dates, these women out, for food, for entertainment, for love. And it's like even on that app, love is a war, and debate is a war. But it's just like we're constantly inauthentic, inorganic, and we're just dealing with political people. There's just people are hyper politicized.
You guys got it with Dr. Whitmore, because I feel like it became political. Benji and Doctor, would you guys say that dating has become political? There's literally some women on profiles that'll say like no MAGA or no Trumpies or whatever association you have, and if they don't like it, they won't date you or they won't talk to you, which is very simple-minded. That's a bird brain.
So the Hinge actually just emailed me back 30 minutes ago. They wrote, "Thank you for contacting us regarding your Hinge account. Our team has reviewed your appeal request and confirmed that you're in violation of terms of service and our community guidelines. Therefore, your account will remain banned. This decision is informed and final, and subsequent appeals will not be considered. Per our Hinge terms of service, Hinge reserves the right to investigate and, if appropriate, suspend or terminate your account without a refund if you have violated these terms, misused our service, or behaved in a way that Hinge regards as inappropriate or unlawful on or off our services. Hinge is part of the Match Group family of businesses, which includes other dating apps. View all of our apps here. Match Group businesses may share user information to remove users who violate our terms of service or have been reported for criminal activity or bad behavior. In some instances, we may remove that user from all platforms. While we recognize it's frustrating not to fully understand the specifics behind this ban, please know that we keep these decisions private to protect the anonymity of any users who may..." So it's like, okay, what did they say? But they don't tell you. To cancel your subscription and request a refund if you're a paid member to avoid other. Anyways, yeah, this is really disappointing because it's like they deplatform you from an app where you're trying to find a wife or a girlfriend. So they desocialize you with no explanation. I mean, if I wear a MAGA hat in one of my photos, and it drives people crazy, like that's not grounds to delete my profile. If I copy and paste and say, "Hey, are you available for a date tonight at 8? I'd love to take you to dinner." Like that's not spam. So what you're really dealing with is employees and women who just don't like heterosexual normative males trying to get dates on a fucking dating app. It's crazy. We're living with retards. I mean, I'm kind of veering towards fascism, where it's like there's no time for debate and no time for compromise. Like fascism might be the only like genuine form of government now, because what they're doing to me is fascism. It's crazy. I mean, I'm the kind of person who just rolls with the punches and I adapt. And like, if they force me to take alternative, activity, well, then it could be for my benefit, even meaning that like, if I'm forced to go meet women in the real world, Well, it's probably a lot better than actually using a dating app where women are talking to 1,000 men, and most of them you can't actually date because they're dating hundreds of people. You know, they're serving their audience, they're serving their cell phone. They're not real people to begin with, so it's better to meet somebody off of a dating app who is not already talking to hundreds of people. So, I mean, I can accept that, but it's still very annoying because it saves you time. It helps you filter all the people you don't want to date or talk to. It's just very annoying. I mean, this happens all the time with Hinge, and I'll probably just create a new account in a couple months. But nonetheless, it's like if the wrong person sees your profile, and like that's the funniest thing is these women are all single and they're trying to report men that they don't like so they can't go out on other dates. It's crazy. Like, ooh, it's crazy.
Yeah, Dr. Wisdom, you need to bull rush these women. Show them who's in charge.
Bull rush these women.
Like, they need their medication. I think, what was the statistic? 60% of women are on some form of antipsychotic.
Hello, Chosen. Hopefully you can come on stage.
Yo, Dr. Wisdom, have you tried Bumble? Are you on Bumble at all? I recently got back to the dating scene not too long ago, man. I got on whatchamacallit, Bumble. I got a lot of matches, man, but a lot of stale ass conversations. I know I get bored. Like, rather than talk, I'd rather just meet up. Like, so we'll see how that goes.
You get bored a lot when you go on dating apps.
What'd you say, Benji?
You get bored when you're on dating apps.
Just the conversation part, right? Because depending on the woman, not all the time, right? But depending on the woman, they don't put much effort into the communication. And it depends on, like, the responses, right? It's usually the women that feel like they shouldn't put any effort into sharing anything about them that makes it, like, where I'm like, all right, well, fuck off. Like, I'm trying to get to know you, like, you know. But if you're giving, like, these one-liners and shit, like, I'm not gonna waste my time.
What do you think about the title?
I think that's a good title. I don't think the game will ever end. I don't think there is an end to it. The battle between the believers and the non-believers will always be there for centuries. Because each side is so adamant on proving their point that they'll always clash. There's no equilibrium. There's no common ground.
Interesting. it is a subjective truth or objective?
Let's bring up Susie. Susie and Joe.
I ain't gonna hate it though.
Hey, welcome, Spicy Susie.
Hello, what are we talking about?
So we have a great question tonight. Will the game ever end between believers and non-believers? What is your take?
I think we all believe in the same thing anyway, so I don't think we have anything to end.
Can you elaborate on what you just said?
So, like, atheists believe in, like, the Big Bang Theory and, like they don't believe in God, but they basically believe in science, and science is God. So,
do they reject that claim?
I think religion is basically just,
I understand. We can talk about what you believe with, but you bring up atheists. Do atheists reject the claim that science is God?
do we have atheists in here? Everybody believes in God?
I grew up in a Catholic Christian family.
Sorry, I had a phone call, but what did you ask?
She asked if we believe in God.
I asked. So I asked a question. You turn back with a question. So can you answer my question before you ask questions?
I'm sorry. I was just trying to see if we had any atheists in the room because I didn't know how to answer that.
No, you don't have to apologize. I don't know if there's any atheists in the room, but the title has to deal with believers and non-believers, so everybody is welcome. But I understand everybody's perspective, so.
I would guess that by definition, I mean, I could be considered an atheist. Do I agree with everything on the atheist side? No. I mean, I grew up in a Catholic family, so I did like the whole Sunday school, the communion thing. But like as I got older, I started to question a lot of things about the church. How it's tax exempt, taking money from working people. I didn't really like that. I didn't know why it was done. I just felt like parts of religion were just like man-made to like control the masses to a certain extent. So I kind of just fell out with the church. I did my own thing, college, etc. I would say I'm more spiritual than anything. Sorry to hijack, but yeah, I was just gonna say because I know the atheist question came up.
What up, motherfuckers?
What up, Jake? Welcome.
How you guys doing?
Good.
What are you guys up to?
So the question on the table was to Susie because she's put something to Susie. So you don't know, or you want to try again?
Who's Susie?
Oh, I was done. That was it.
You said what?
No, I was done. That was my answer. I'm done.
I asked you, does the atheist hold the same premise as you that science is God?
Oh, fuck.
I don't know.
Thank you. Perfect answer. That's the best thing to do.
What y'all on tonight?
The title says, will the game ever end between believers and non-believers? How do you feel?
No? What's it say?
Will the game ever end between believers and non-believers?
Mm-hmm.
I guess not.
You smoke, bro.
You asking questions with questions? What's going on with these people?
Motherfucker, I ain't answering that question.
Okay, so meet your mic. Hello, Heaven. Nice to meet you.
No.
Hello.
Hello.
I want to play a game. What's the title?
Will the game ever end? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? She right. These people are so predictable.
Yo, so I don't know. I'm going to go surf around and see what else is going on in these other rooms.
Yeah, I'm about to run around too and see what's going on here.
All right, well, the game continues.
Saying obviously said when the wall was put up that Israel took, because the wall was put up, 75 farms on their side were destroyed. Is that true?
What do you mean on their side? Which side?
Gaza side or something. I don't know.
I mean, there's a parameter, a security parameter. I think it's 100 meters. So I don't know how much you could fit in it. And yeah, that's like a no-go zone. It could happen. I don't know. I mean, at the end, it's a farmland, not necessarily housing. It could happen. But right now, the areas that are close to the border in Gaza, from the Gaza side, the only people that are allowed to go close to the perimeter are the farmers. So farming is still allowed. They can just build there. They can still farm.
Right.
But it could be that some of it was taken.
He says 75 farms.
75 farms?
Yep.
I
don't know how big or small they were actually.
They could be really small, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah, could be, but they got other farms. All the settlements that were taken out of Gaza, they just left it. So they got. To be honest, I don't know how you count farms. I just know that there's the parameter, and the parameter means that you cannot. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it as a problem. I mean.
Okay, what I still. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's the consequences. It's like same with the checkpoints. Like, what do you want? Like, yes, you had a farm. You decided to fire rockets and whatever. So yes, we need to put a parameter. And sorry, guys. Like, yes, there's a price to pay.
דניאל, פשוט אני רואה שלמטה מישהו מחסם טיפה ואני חושבת שזה בן אדם שמקליד, אז אתה יודע מה לעשות.
אני לא יודע מי...
So a deistic God would not care at all to leave a message. It's like already slightly a contradiction in terms. Deistic God, again, is only creating the universe, and then letting it evolve according to whatever natural order, natural laws he set up in that universe, and then not caring whether any messages evolved, particularly for humans to be able to see it in the future. This is already bordering on a theistic God. Yeah, maybe a weaker version where he's not answering prayers and choosing who wins football games, but he's somehow affecting the universe, whether it's now or in the future, so that he can give us a sign of some shit, even if he seed it, even if he did it before the human saw it. So it's not like he spray painted in the sky, "Hi, humans, I'm God and I'm here" at the moment when he did it. He could have seeded the universe at the Big Bang so that would happen 13.8 billion years later. But that's already a God who's interfering with the universe and making things happen that would not happen naturally, so that humans can see them. This is the reason. This is why they have to eventually concede that this would not happen in our universe, and they had to start talking about a hypothetical universe. universe. A hypothetical universe. So they have to assume a hypothetical universe with a hypothetical God who hypothetically already wants to let humans know and seeds the universe. How you say? I like that word. Is already seeding the universe with a message for humanity to see whatever 13.8 billion years later. That in no book I've ever read does that sound like anything close to what the definition of a deistic God is, to me at least. Now I'm more interested in your little Conway's Game of Life because it's more algorithmic. So we can simplify the whole thing a lot more than talking about our universe. Is way simpler. In Conway's Game of Life, yes, you input the initial conditions and then just let the system evolve. And you can start with the most rudimentary, the most simple little blocks, and they can turn into, I forgot, there's gliders, there's like spinners, there's gliders, there's all that evolve. Yeah, you know the gliders, the little things that look like little airplanes that fucking fly, right? And all this evolves naturally according to the laws of the game of life. So now humans who are inputting the initial conditions into Conway's Game of Life, so that it may evolve, it may terminate, it may whatever, or it might get a never-ending cycle of gliders just shooting out of a main glider station. So now the humans who are programming this are now playing the position of the God in this universe. And so it depends. So now the humans are playing this part. So now the humans are the so-called either theistic or deistic God. Yeah, we're just Jack. We're kind of going over some little experiment that happened in a room a few days ago. I wish you would have heard the whole thing about the Game of Life thing, if you know what that is. Conway's Game of Life. Okay, so the humans are playing the role of God now, where they're the ones programming the Game of Life, i.e., they're the ones setting the initial conditions of the universe. And if I set in my initial conditions shit to happen in the future to let them know that I exist and that I created this Game of Life, that I don't know. Would that count for you? Would that count as a deistic God who doesn't care about humanity, who doesn't even know about humanity? Or does that count as a theistic God who supposedly cares about humanity? He loves us. He blah 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 blah, and he cares about us enough to leave a message sometime in the future so that we can see it. Because that sounds more like a theistic, that sounds more like a theistic God to me. One who would take time out of his day. This is the whole point. He would take time out of his day to see the universe or to program the initial conditions in order for the possibility that 13.8 billion years later, humans will see this message. That sounds like a theistic God to me. A very weak one, but a theistic God nonetheless. This is the problem that I have. Again, people are not clear about their definitions, and they think because they make some hypothetical arguments which include the conclusion they're trying to prove in their premises, and then claim to have proved their thing. It baffles my mind that they don't even realize the fallacy, the logical fallacy they're making. So go ahead, Cheese.
Yes, please. Yeah, thanks. I
what's meant by a deistic God, and because you gave a definition that, well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just wasn't familiar with, in the sense that, like, maybe I'm just not familiar enough with the word deistic, and it kind of turns on my feelings about the situation. And that was that you said a deistic God needs to have no attitude towards the creatures within the universe. It's just
Yes.
it creates it and it just lets it expand. It doesn't. Yeah. So in the sense that if that's a requirement for like what a deistic God is, then I'm on board with you, right? Like, what are we saying to say that it's not the message? That sort of implies caring and an attitude towards the creation, the universe, or whatever.
Yes, and affecting the universe, whether now or in the future, so that we can see the message. This is theism defined.
Well, I don't know if I agree with the affecting the universe. Like, I think regardless of the situation, we're saying it affects the universe in the initial conditions, right? Like, it sets up the initial conditions. And if that's the only thing that's doing, and you can agree that those initial conditions can lead to the propagation of a message that, like, manifests in the future. I don't know if I would constitute that as affecting, like, it seems like a God has to, one way or the other, if it's theistic or deistic, in this sort of sense, it has to at least set up the initial conditions. Like, if a deistic God sets initial conditions, I still think that would be a deistic God. It's just if at any later time interval, if it comes back and does something else and changes things from that initial conditions, I sort of took that to be the marker to move it from deistic to theistic. But so I agree with you if the attitude is important. Let me just say that.
So the definition of our terms is definitely important. I agree. Again, these guys they're the ones changing the definition whenever it suits them. If it suits them to have a deistic God not care about humanity at all, but only for this one moment of seeding, then that's the definition they're going to go with. If they're having a different discussion where a deistic God is required to not give a fuck about humans, just only create the universe, and he could create the universe, and we might not even evolve in this universe. He could create the universe with laws of physics that violate the anthropic principle, meaning there's no region in the universe where there's liquid water and humans involved or whatever.
This will never
he could
happen.
create that universe, and there'll never be any witnesses to see the message.
Good
left
luck
the message. Yeah, these guys are never willing to go into the actual definitions that we're going to use to actually make progress. They're just trying to score points. They think they're making the most simplistic Wikipedia level arguments and trying to score points like little basketballs and just be like, ha, I scored a point. When all they did was fucking massive amounts of wordplay, of word games, of definition juggling. It's embarrassing the lengths they go to.
Never happen. Good luck to you.
To try to score points. When I'm trying to have a serious philosophical argument about the implications of what these terms really mean. And again, a deistic God, in theory, by definition in theory, would not even care if humans evolved in the future. Again, he could set up the initial conditions of the universe, and again, just lets them play out naturally. Where the universe, regurgitate comes to mind, where the universe is so fucking cold, just everywhere in the universe, stars burn way cooler than they do in our universe, so that there is no planets with habitable zones, so that all the water in the universe is frozen ice. There exists no such thing as liquid water. A deistic God would not care. By definition, he would not care. He's just creating the universe and letting it evolve. And whatever evolves, he doesn't even care about what evolves after that either. That's the real see, but they're conflating this deistic God because he created the universe, but immediately jumping to a deistic God, to a theistic God, I apologize. They say, let there be a D God. I'm gonna call him a D God for deistic and a TH for theistic. So they say, let there exist a D God, and then this D God has properties such that he has the properties of a theistic God, TH God, where he cares to leave a message. He cares in the first place. That's already self-defeating. He cares to leave a message for creatures that he, again, in theory, shouldn't care for. He just creates the universe and bounces and dips, vanishes. So why would he care to leave a message for beings in the future if his only job is to create the universe and then bounce? And then the whole point is, he's not even, unless he's creating the universe knowing that he created the universe for us. That's what they would have to argue. He created the universe so that with like the anthropic principle in mind, meaning he created the universe that's capable of supporting liquid water, that's capable of supporting life, that's capable of giving rise to multicellular organisms, that's capable of multicellular organisms going to fucking humans just like us. If God is already in this D or TH God, already has all of that in mind. That's not a deistic God. That's not a D God. A D God, again, knocks over the first domino. He just he pushes the ball down the hill, just does the first little push, and lets it roll down the hill without any concern for what the ball does next, whether it hits anybody or not, whether it crashes into some little kid's little playground castle. None of this is important to him, because as soon as he rolls the ball over the hill, he walks away and never looks back and never cares whether any humans are evolved in his universe that he created. I mean, he's indifferent. It's not that he cares. He's indifferent. Whether they did or didn't, whether the fact of leaving a seed for humans to see is already problematic to me. Again, that already sounds like a TH God to me. That he's leaving seeds or signs for us to see him. That sounds like a TH God to me. A theistic God. A deistic God, again, doesn't give a shit. He's just creating the universe and walking away. And by that walking away part, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, are you cool if I explain your position to Cloud to get him understand, like, try to bridge the gap between you two?
Yeah. I look at the title I put on the room. Andrew and Cloud, come in here. I told them, I was like, I told them I would like to have this conversation, this exact conversation. We don't need an audience, because they want to have it in front of they want to have it while they're mods, so they can shut me up and throw me in the audience whenever they want. As soon as I'm making a point that is destroying their arguments, they're throwing me in the audience. That has happened over and over again. But I told them, I'm like, how about we have it in a in a private room. Just me, Albedo, Andrew, and whoever else was needed. Carlos. And I think that's it. I was like, us four in a private room, we could flesh this out like we're doing right now. I've already invited them to do this twice. Of course, they haven't responded. they're not willing to have this conversation. They want to have this conversation in front of all their little fans so that they can score points and call people liars and put them in the audience. That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in truth. They're not interested in actual facts. They're interested in scoring points and looking good in front of their audience. It's so simple. It's so embarrassing, but simple at the same time. So yeah, I put it in the thing. Maybe I'll even add. Let me see. Andrew and Cloud come in. We're talking about deism. Deism versus theism. I know they're not going to see this. Look, there you go. The title changed. I know they're not going to see this, but... Man, I should have recorded this fucking room. Did I?
No worries. I can explain it to Cloud. Or to, like, Albedo and, Cloud. Yeah, Cloud, you know them as both. Okay. Yeah, I'll go talk to Albedo about it and just let him know.
And tell him I'm willing to have a conversation about this if he needs any more clarification. That we can clarify it in a private room. Private room with no audience, so nobody has to worry about scoring points or looking like a fool. Because that's what they're scared of. They're scared to look like fools. They're scared to be wrong in front of their quote-unquote fans. Whereas I'm not. You know, the fuck I care about fans. I don't have fans. I might have supporters, but I don't have any fans. So yeah, tell them that we can have a room. Tell them that we can have a room just like this, but it will be not public like this one. It will be private. Yeah. Not that type of fan, but Flora got it. We can have a conversation just like this where there's nobody in the audience. So there's nobody, we don't have to worry about scoring any points. We should just rigorously define all the terms. And you did the most for this conversation about bringing up Conway's Game of Life. Because we can reformulate the entire argument in terms of Conway's Game of Life. So thank you for that, Cheese. Ask Albedo or ask Cloud if they're willing, if they really, and tell them that supposedly the $100 or whatever, if they can convince me, if they can prove me wrong in this private room that I'm challenging them to, that I'm willing to pay up. All they gotta do is shoot me their fucking Bitcoin wallet, and I'll send them $100. That's no problem. But again, yeah, let them know, and if they tell them that they have a chance to even make money. But we're gonna define our terms correctly. We're not gonna try to score points in front of the audience. Nobody's getting kicked down when they're making a good point. Like every time I'm making a good point, they bring me to the audience. I know people will record it. You can watch the replay. We'll record it, and anybody interested can watch the replay. But it's just I want to do to these guys what they do to everybody, which is corner them. I want to corner them and see them flounder and fucking fish out of water, because that's how they're going to be stuck like fish out of water once they realize how intellectually rudimentary their arguments are. So that's it. Let Cloud know, let Albedo know, let Andrew know. The challenge is, the offer stands. The challenge, the offer is open. All they got to do is let me know.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll let Cloud know. I don't talk to Andrew, but I'll definitely let Cloud know. And
let Cloud know. Tell Cloud that I got his money waiting for him if we can define our terms and explain to him your Game of Life, the Conway Game of Life analogy, because that's going to do a lot of work. That was brilliant on your part.
Oh, thanks. All right.
I'm gonna
I'm going to head back to work.
simplify the matter, just putting it in terms of Conway's game of life and, you know, the programmers being the god or whatever, that was brilliant. So yeah, let Cloud know. Tell him I got his money waiting for him in a private room if we can discuss this to the end and flesh it out.
All right, will do. I'm heading back to work now, but thanks for the chat, too. Yeah, I'm appreciative.
Asking me. Oni, have you been have you been recorded or captured with a transformational individual? I have never been captured with a transgender individual. What she's talking about are people who are non-binary on this fucking app with deceiving profiles. I give them a compliment, and now it's like, oh shit, I had no idea that that person was trans. That's what she's trying to talk about. But no one has ever been recorded with. I'm not fucking PhD. I'm not one of these booty gang ass niggas, man. No one has ever fucking had any evidence that your boy has been fucking with the booty gang. What's up? Right. So
okay. So in person, you haven't been caught up with one too?
But you know that I haven't been caught up with one. You're just playing
No. In person, you literally explained to us that you got caught with a transgender at a club somewhere.
Oh.
You explained this to us yesterday when you were talking about the water. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
When did this happen?
When you mentioned that, hold on, where's the transgender named Elika that was in here? Somebody ping Elika the trans.
Hey, hold up. Don't bring her in. Bring her in.
No, when you were casually
how I got caught up with the tranny.
when you were casually Drew got it. There was some extra shit in the comment. Drew, are you referring to him who said he went to the gay club and had fun? Okay. You are. So when you were mentioning to us about you and Elika's conversation that trans, you said, "Oh, this is not the first time that happened to me. I went to this club in Houston," and Armenians was like, "What?" And you said, "Hold on. You went back on mute. You went back on mute. Hi, hold on, I'm lying. Bro, Armenians, come off mute.
Wait. You're saying because there's over 20 people in the room yesterday.
Did he not?
Wait. You're saying that
I don't remember the club part. I remember the clubhouse part.